So when it comes to actually applying for a mortgage, understanding the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification can do wonders for not only when you make the offer, but also just for your peace of mind in general. So the reality is you can find hundreds of videos on why this is important. I'm going to jump into what the difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qual is today, as well as what's called an underwritten pre-approval. So let's dive right on in. So basically a pre-qual is a preliminary assessment of your financial situation based off what you tell me. Now, the reality is it's based on what's provided by you. So basically this means nothing. Pretty much a pre-qual is saying the lender didn't do any homework. They're taking you at your word for whatever income that you say you have and all your assets as well. Usually when you see something that has a pre-qual or pre-qualification on top, that means the lender hasn't gone through any of your documents. They haven't seen W-2s. They haven't looked at pay stubs. They haven't looked at bank statements. They don't actually know you can do what you say you can do. Now, what's important to note about a pre-qual is it doesn't really mean much. Now, most realtors already understand this, which is why a lot of the times, if you're making offers with a pre-qual, you probably won't get it accepted. People want to know you can actually pay what you say you can pay. Now, on the other hand, there's what we call a pre-approval. Now, a pre-approval is when a lender actually takes your documents, brings them in, looks through them, and makes sure based on real proof and facts that you can actually qualify for the mortgage. Now, the secret with doing a pre-approval is making sure you have this done correctly, because this is the difference when you're hunting for a house. If your lender is calling ahead to the listing agent, letting them know, hey, we've already done all of our preliminary, we've already looked through documents, this person qualifies for this home, it makes your offer for that home much, much stronger. So basically a pre-approval shows that the lender actually did their job. They've reviewed your finances and they're actually willing to lend you a specific amount. You have been approved for this amount instead of just qualified for this. Now, usually this verification will include 2 years W-2s, 30 days of pay stubs, 2 months bank statements proving that you have assets. And a lot of the times we'll do what's called a verification of employment, which actually goes to your employer and verifies that you still work there. We also get your wage, how much you make, how many hours you've worked, probably your last 2 years worth of history there. To sum it up, a pre-approval not only shows that you did the work up front, you went to that lender and actually gave them the documents, but the lender has not done their part and gone through your documents to make sure everything you said is true. Now, lastly, we have what's called an underwritten pre-approval or a TBD approval. Now, this is by far the most solid version. If there are levels of pre-approval, there's pre-qual, pre-approval, underwritten pre-approval. This is the most solid, most secure version of a pre-approval. Now, what the lenders do in these TBD or underwritten pre-approvals is we send it through to underwriters. So that begs the question, what is an underwriter? So the definition of an underwriter is literally an underwriter is a party, usually a member of a financial organization that evaluates and assumes another party's risk in mortgage, insurance, loans, or investments. Underwriters try to determine the likelihood of the borrower to pay as promised and they have enough collateral in case there's a default. So basically the underwriters have the final say on whether or not your loan is actually going to go through. They are verifying not only what you said and what we gave them documents for, but that every little piece of your file is true. And then what they do is they give you back conditions. They say, hey, in order to push this file all the way through, we'll need this, this, and this to make sure this borrower is as solid as you say they are. Now, what's really cool when you get to this level of underwriting, and the reason this is the best level of underwriting you can get to, the banks actually have to pay for this to go through. Even if you don't buy a home, they're paying these underwriters in order to underwrite these loans. So a lot of the times when you get to this point, if you have an underwritten approval, that bank is giving you a guaranteed offer to lend. You will get this money unless something crazy happens like you lose your job. Then not only you as a client can be more secured that your loan is going to be good to go and there won't be any major issues popping up. Also, the agent on the other side, the listing agent and the seller's agent can know you're a very solid offer. A lot of the times these underwritten approvals are competitive as cash. Because when you have the right bank that you work with and you understand the risks, you can actually remove your loan approval saying, no matter what, we're good to go on this. Also, these underwritten approvals, because you do so much of the work ahead of time, close a lot faster. You can actually usually close these underwritten approvals in 9 days. So basically 3 levels of approvals. You have your pre-qual, pre-approval, and underwritten pre-approval. If your lender has the option, go with the underwritten pre-approval. Because believe me, this is going to not only make your offer stronger, but you're also not going to be surprised through the process. Because buying a house is stressful enough. And before we get wrapped up here, remember that being approved for a mortgage is not only something you do when you're ready to buy, but also to help you get ready to buy. So if you have questions and you want to know what you need to do to get ready to buy a house, I'd love to have that conversation and do a pre-approval with you. And lastly, if you found this helpful, make sure you hit that notification button, like and subscribe to this channel. try and do my best to drop knowledge on here as much as I can. I'm here to educate so you're not stressed out when you walk through your first home buying process. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.